And as you can see here, Pete Hegseth revealed Pete Hegseth drunk during presser from hell? Huh.
I want to know who owns the land around our bases and strategic bases, and getting an understanding of why foreign entities, foreign companies, foreign individuals might be buying up land around those bases. That's something I should be paying attention to on behalf of the American people, on behalf of my department, and on behalf of the president. It's common sense. And so food security, just like energy resilience, just like where we get our water, that's all national security, especially in a contingency. So we would be asleep at the wheel if we were not fully a party to an effort like this to ensure that our nation had the food supply it needs. But specifically, our troops have what they need on our bases so that in those moments you can rely on us here in the United States to provide that security. So no longer can foreign adversaries assume we're not watching and we're not paying attention and we're not doing something about it, because we are. So, Brooke, thank you very much. I want to know.
And how many of you are watching? How many of you are paying attention? Specifically to your own personal safety, well-being, health. And Lyle even just left this comment and told me, Kevin, for now, chapter says I'm okay, and I will get a call in October from Irma. Thank you. Peace of mind, folks, and money savings. Who here watching wouldn't want to save money? Pick up the phone, dial 270-467-2426, get your free Medicare help, your free Medicare consultation, and ask Chapter if there's any money that you could be saving right now. This is wild. This is crazy. O'Keefe Media Group says just yesterday, the DOJ claimed there's no Epstein client list. Kash Patel said there's no footage of people committing felonies on the island. And in April, Pam Bondi privately admitted that the FBI has tens of thousands of videos, all with little kids. Something doesn't add up is what this post here says.
Do you know when the Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. The FBI's been...
Okay.
So,
any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tens and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
Whew, man, that's wild. That is absolutely crazy, folks. But I've got way more that I want to show you. And in fact, some that I can't. And as you see here, content warning, sensitive content. Yeah, that's going to have to go on a whole nother platform because I think it would actually get my channel strike down here on YouTube. I'm actually posting on Patreon, and I'll put a link down below in the description. And I've got I've got one hell of a bombshell to drop of a message that I received about the MCC footage and the Epstein jail cell from a former MCC inmate. That and a letter that I received on this mysterious email with some very explicit and vivid details about some scenarios that are going on in relation to what's happening right now. Also, the opposition that is currently actively fighting me, trying to stop me from sharing this with you folks. So there's a link down below in the description. Come on over, check it out. You're probably going to be blown away, much like I was blown away by this post here, which seems like this is the direction everyone's going. Hodge twins, Trump telling everybody to just get over the Epstein list is a slap in the face to people that voted for him. He's done a lot of good things, but this is really bad, y'all, and we won't be quiet about it. Let's get the hell out of here seems to be the trend for former MAGA supporters, and I'm going to show you guys that here in just a moment. And there's countless reports here that we see, one of which is actually extremely shocking, and the White House in big panic over video exposing cognitive issues. Speaking of being exposed, do you notice something missing here, no longer exposed, in plain sight and in view with the White House Spocks or spokes? I guess that's the correct pronunciation. Genuinely curious here, Declaration of Memes asks, let's see what y'all think. Which is more likely? Trump is compromised or there's no list? Let's go with, I've never done an X poll before. I know on YouTube, when you select a choice, it gives you results. So I don't know if X will do the same, but I'm going to choose Trump is compromised or there's no list. Uh, let's go with no list. 75.6% of people say that Trump is compromised. Cat Turd says, and I said yesterday, and I'll say it again today, Pam Bondi must do a long press conference ASAP about her decisions about Epstein files and the Binder debacle, etc. She's the AG of the United States. It has to be her, not the press secretary or anyone else. It's not going to go away. It's all the press will ask her going forward until she does, even a year from now. And here's an idea. Just tell the truth. If the Biden regime, Merrick Garland, and Christopher Wray destroyed the evidence, just say it. If they didn't, just say it. If she isn't strong enough to do this, she needs to be replaced. Trump faces a hostile press all day, every day. He's answered all incoming nasty questions for 10 years. It's time for her to do the same. And I guess in retrospect, then, based on what we discussed last night, then Cat Turd is basically saying that President Trump is actually trying to protect and shield Pam Bondi from the press, from MAGA. Sherry says here that President Trump needs to stay close to social media. He's losing control of his administration. Bondi and Cash and Bongino are a PR nightmare. But not everyone feels the same about Dan. I'm going to show you that in just a moment. We'll have to get back to this Grok meltdown later. I'll say that for another video.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child, and there are hundreds of victims, and no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. There are tens of thousands of videos.
So basically, we're seeing a discrepancy here. Green Lives Matter says we went from Epstein with children to Epstein downloading child. Something's not adding up. But it almost seems like, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, a lot of people just want to see child porn because that's pretty much all there is to see in theory. So is that what you guys want? To see a bunch of child porn with Jeffrey Epstein? Gunther Eagleman says, or asks, is there anyone that doesn't want the Epstein files released? I'm sure I could think of a few people. This woman is in prison for 20 years for a crime that we learned today very convincingly did not happen. I'm only reading the posts that are published here, folks. Brian Krasenstein or Krasenstein, I'm not sure which one it is. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. Are people still talking about this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste this time? I can't believe you're asking about Epstein. And then it seems like this is a quote from yesterday from the administrative meeting or cabinet meeting dubbed most transparent administration in history. What do you guys think? Yay or nay? Agree or disagree? George says God saved Trump's life and Butler to do things like release the Epstein files, not to sign off on more weapons to Ukraine and Israel. At least he doesn't have Zelensky over there autographing bombs with Josh Shapiro. Down South Patriot says, you have no idea how many people are walking away from supporting your administration because you just scolded a reporter for asking a question about a video and memo that was released yesterday. We want every single pedophile that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked to no one arrested and prosecuted. We will not stop until that happens. DC is apparently full of pedophiles and those who choose to cover for them. Pam Bondi has zero credibility left and should be fired. Cash and Dan, they are walking a thin line. Many of us have devoted a decade to getting you into office, money, shirts, hats, posts, and this is how you treat us in return? By letting the politicians in DC have uninterrupted access to rape and size children? Wow, America has fallen to the pedophiles. I mean, can you guys believe that? There's so much here. Even this one says, "Holy crap!" Another MAGA that says they aren't supporting Trump any longer because he's part of the deep state and has been lying to him and others all along.
This is all going in the trash. I do not support Trump anymore. He's a liar. He's a part of the deep state. I do not support Israel. I will not be supporting him anymore. He's part of the deep state. He's committing genocide as we speak in Israel. And we all need to start waking up.
So I guess the question is, if he's not supporting Trump anymore, then who is he supporting? Now, granted, I've seen some folks tell me that they aren't going to vote anymore. However, the alternative here would be to then support Democrats, right? Which, in theory, in 2028 would be Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, Jasmine Crockett. And it's actually kind of funny. I don't know if Kamala Harris will even be running. Chris Stiegel says, "I didn't elect Donald Trump to prosecute a pedophile. While I completely agree this story is phony and makes no sense, it's not even on my top 10 list of national concerns. Sorry, not sorry." Yeah. I said that yesterday, and that went over like a fart in church. But yeah, I don't think Kamala Harris is going to run, or at least have a chance, based on this exchange, this account from an interview with Kareem Rama's Subway Takes, and it didn't go so well.
Emailed me.
They got an email from the
DNC.
Okay.
And they said, "Hey, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are really interested in being on your show." I said, "That sounds cool.
Okay.
I'll at least get to tell my daughter that I met the potential president of the United States."
Yeah.
And so I said yes, based on the fact that it would be a good story, and also they both had good takes.
What happened with Kamala?
Her take was really confusing and weird and not good, and so mutually agreed that we shouldn't publish it.
I see.
And I got lucky because I didn't want to be blamed for her losing.
Her take was that bad?
It was really, really bad, and it was like didn't make any sense. I can tell you, it was bacon as a spice. Bacon as a spice.
Bacon as a spice.
Emailed me.
They got an email from the
DNC.
Okay.
And they said, "Hey,
Bacon as a spice. What does that even mean? What does that even mean?" But regardless, I guess this kind of falls into the same category of cognitive issues. I mean, they want to talk shit about Trump, cognitive issues. Kamala Harris, she should have her head examined. But if these folks are tossing their MAGA gear in the trash and they're not going to support Trump anymore, then who are they going to support? And granted, it would take a fair amount of backing and support and financial wherewithal, but maybe we see the start of the America Party and a presidential run for the America Party. But I'm not sure who Elon would choose, or who some of these. I think it's Elon. You got Mark Cuban, whoever else they got over there to run. Hell, I guess Mark Cuban could run for president. He'd like that. Mark Cuban, you got billionaires with the America Party, and Mark Cuban trying to throw his weight around and kind of like stick it to Trump, stick it to Kamala. That could be wild, be crazy. It'd be hilarious and comical. But can you imagine if this country was run by Mark Cuban with co-president Elon Musk? You'd have to know for a fact that at that point it's co-president Elon Musk. It's co-president Elon Musk. And Caroline Levitt says, "As President Trump just said, no amnesty." But I think that will probably get swept under the rug today with all the other noise that's going on.
But well, they have to take us seriously, because for all these countries, we're the most important thing they have going, and so they have to take it seriously. And I assume the president here is trying to goose conversations along, and I hope that he does. The president has a theory on the tariffs here. It has brought in money into the country. It did create leverage for some other trade deals. And if you look at the totality of what's happened over the last several weeks and several months, the market's up. We've got a lot of investment flowing into the country. Back in my home state of Kentucky, in fact, GE announced they were bringing a bunch of jobs back because of the policy environment created by the tariff. So there's good things going on economically in the country, which is a big part of why I think the president's had a fairly successful 6 months. So
we got Scott Jennings here talking about tariffs, right? And so I wonder if, it's like Scott is a huge supporter and proponent of President Trump. And so, like, I wonder if, as some of these folks begin to start to look bad and want to save face and careers, do they then change their tune about President Trump? And it's not just Scott Jennings. It's not just MAGA supporters tossing their gear in the trash can. It could be other countries. It could be other countries that say, you know what? You got taco here. You guys know what taco means, right? And they call Trump taco from time to time. And they're like, you know what? Based on what we've seen and based on, the absolute internal turmoil and collapse of MAGA and the infighting and, now this Epstein thing, some of these countries may, let's say, screw you on your tariffs. Screw you on your foreign policy. Screw you. They might. They might. They know Trump doesn't want to go to war. Peace through strength is a statement. It's a great slogan, but what happened in Iran, it kind of sends a message, I guess. Jack Posobiec, Pam Bondi sounds like Hillary Clinton up there right now. Someone has to say it.
The United States Attorney General that the Epstein case is closed. There's no more information on Jeffrey Epstein. Why do you guys keep asking about Jeffrey Epstein? She says that we don't need to hear about Jeffrey Epstein ever again. You know what this sounds like? I'm going to tell you exactly what this sounds like. Pam Bondi sounds like Hillary Clinton right now saying, at this point, what does it even matter, when she was talking about Benghazi? All right. This is not how you treat the American people. This is not how you treat basic communications. This is not how you treat your voters and your supporters. And certainly, by the way, myself personally, I feel very angry, upset, used, every word you want to know, from having gone to the White House and receiving this binder full of baloney that was completely publicly available information already that we were told was new information on Epstein. It wasn't. We were told that more information was coming. There wasn't. You claimed that you had the list on your desk. You didn't. And none of it came out. And now when people have the obvious response of asking a question about it, you get in their faces and you tell them to stop asking. No, you sound like Hillary Clinton right now. And this isn't what you promised the American people.
And for him to say that is pretty wild, especially considering the footage that I just saw with Hillary Clinton. Did you guys see that? The Hillary Clinton MCC footage? Like I said, I'm going to be posting over on Patreon with the MCC intel that was leaked, insider intel that was shared with me. Mind-blowing, folks. DC Drano says, I wish I could get excited about this, but if the DOJ will cover up for Epstein pedos, how can we trust them to go after these guys? These guys, in a New York Post, FBI launches criminal investigation of John Brennan, James Comey over Trump-Russia probe, DOJ sources. And, there's some truth to that, right? Or at least we should assume there is. We've been taught to not trust and believe and question everything, and so we have to apply that across the board, right?
In the memo, the language that Pam Bondi used, which was no incriminating client list, that really jumped out to me, actually, because it maybe gives her a little wiggle room between saying that she had a client list and then saying there's no incriminating client list. So I wanted to ask you if maybe that's what's going on here before we get into some of these other details.
I don't know what's going on with her. I believe Dan Bongino's not lying to me. I really do. When Dan Bongino puts his name on something, I don't know Cash as well, but I know Dan. I know him well. We've worked together many, many years. He didn't just turn around and start lying. That's not who he is. He's an honest guy, and he takes this role very seriously, and I trust him. And I trust him not to actively mislead me or you. However, Pam Bondi has definitely made multiple inconsistent statements, and I'm sorry, but she does not deserve the benefit of my good opinion, and I'm not prepared to give it to her. She's, yes, on camera saying that clip that Peter Doocy was referencing, where John Roberts asked her, do you have the client list? Like, are you going to release a client list? And she said, yes. He said client list, and she said, yes, it's on my desk right now. So it was not as amorphous as Caroline, to her credit. She's trying to cover for the administration, which is her job, but they put her in a very difficult position. It's not amorphous. It's very clear. She said yes. And here's what happened. What happened was Pam Bondi said that, and then a week later, she said she was going to be releasing some very interesting documents the next day, when on Jesse Waters' show, like 6 days after that first hit, he said, hey, what client list is coming out? And she was like, it's going to be getting very interesting, and some interesting Epstein documents are coming out tomorrow. And that is when the influencers, right-wing influencers who had been very good to Trump, who amidst all the deranged media out there, were able to see through the bullshit and reported honestly and helped him a lot, and did not deserve the humiliation that she heaped upon them. It was not through their own doing. She invited them there. I mean, who wouldn't go, right? It's Pam Bondi. Do you want to come meet with the head of the FBI and the vice president for an exclusive Epstein leak? Yeah, yes. Most people in media would say yes to that. So they went, and in the classic line from Animal House, you fucked up. You trusted us. That's what happened. They fucked up because they trusted her, and they were humiliated because she gave them all these binders that read Epstein files, volume 1. And there was nothing new in there. Nothing. There was no scoop. Why would she do that? And it led to, behind the scenes, like all the White House staffers, like the top people in the White House for Trump, distancing themselves from Pam Bondi immediately. Like, we don't know why she did that. And then it came out that they were urging her not to do it. But I don't know what she was up to. She wanted to have some moment where she looked like she was the one. And then she was in trouble, and she knew it. So she said, all right, that's just the first tranche. I'm really pissed off. The FBI is the one who screwed me. They said everything was in there. Okay, like you need to know. You need to know that no lawyer just sloppily calls all these PR people in and says, here are the files, without knowing what's in there. But she wants us to believe she did. Okay, so she either was clueless or she intentionally embarrassed them. I don't know which is better.
Megyn Kelly, I trust Dan Bongino, so she says. We'll see how far that trust goes. Gunther Eagleman says, I would have never thought of our government would allow people to rape children on Epstein Island and just let it slide. It's not okay. And things are bad when George Santos chimes in and says, I hope Steve Bannon sues the shit out of Elon Musk for defamation. This might be just as crazy and as wild as that Hillary Clinton footage I saw. And I'm going to show that to you. I got something here I'm going to show you about Steve Bannon in just a second. Laura Loomer could be another one that jumped ship. I think if you see Laura Loomer jump ship, you know it's bad. It's bad. It's not going to be a Titanic moment with the band playing with the going down with the ship. I think some folks are going to jump ship. Because I live in Florida, Pam Bondi is not liked well here. Not well liked here. People who have worked with her know how incompetent she is. That I don't think anybody likes her brother either. Under her watch as Florida's Attorney General, she botched the George Zimmerman trial, and she botched the Epstein case. She's also a Scientologist. And kind of bizarre, if we're being honest. Nobody ever wants to talk about how she's a Scientologist. I didn't know she was a Scientologist. I'm not saying I have anything wrong. I'm just saying, I didn't know. But here we go, folks. Here we go. Epstein files not going to put food on the table. Not a big deal enough for people to regret their vote and switch to the other side. In response to Elon Musk's post, it says, how can people be expected to have faith in Trump if he won't release the Epstein files? Again, a fart in church, folks. But this is the one. This is it. Bannon. Elon Musk says Bannon is in the Epstein files. He says Bannon is in the Epstein files. And I thought I had the other one. There it is. Nope, that's not it. I thought I had another one from Elon or. Oh, wait. I sent it to Michelle. I think I sent it to Michelle yesterday. I thought I did. Oh, okay. I don't know. I must have misplaced it, or maybe the bookmark didn't take, but Elon Musk posted this and it says Bannon is in the Epstein files. And so that's a bombshell, folks. And like I said, I've got more to share with you guys over on Patreon that I can't share here. But Mila Joy says, I, for one, am not a fan of this platform's owner spreading misinformation for political gain. Are you?